Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Reconnect All podcast. I am your host, Katrina D. Owen, and like normal, I'm going to start with some intentional breathing. I just want you to take a big inhale and exhale. We're going to do two more. Big inhale through your nose and exhale. Last time, big inhale. And let's hear it. Shake it off. Shake those shoulders. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Today I am reading briefly from The She Book by Tanya Markle. I have had this book going on probably about, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years. She has the She Book, and now she also has the She Book 2. So this is page 56. Don't waste your time on anyone or anything that makes you feel less like yourself. I found that one of the worst feelings in the world is waking up to my soul whispering, "Stop being an imposter. This isn't you." So I return to the trees, and that is where I see my reflection and feel the scratchiness on my shoulder blades as I grow back my wings. I let go of who I was to dare and discover who I am in the freedom of this moment. And just like the wind, I know I'll change again, but gasp with excitement at the mere thought of soaring in the breath of now. Today, I have a special guest, and it's going to be a bit different podcast than normal because I have my good friend Ivy Long, shopkeeper of Olde Magick Ways in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. And she is actually going to interview me. I have no idea what kind of questions she's going to ask, but of course, I trust her with my life. And so, hello, Ivy.
I think we've done so many of the gatherings here at the shop together that some of the best things about us, I believe, is when we're doing interviews, we just kind of go with it. So we'll just go with it.
We're just going to go with it. I would like to point out, we did not plan what we are wearing.
But we tend to do this quite a bit.
So for those of you who are listening and not watching us, we have on identical sweaters. It's just different colors. And so, so welcome, Ivy Long. How are you?
Thank you for having me. And I have to tell you, it's such an honor to be able to interview you. You interview everybody else and you let everybody else's story get out there. And one of the things that I think throughout the years that sometimes you love about me, but sometimes you're like, okay, is I think the world needs to know why you got into energy healing. I think that's one of the best. If there was ever a story that I've heard in this spiritual realm that we're in, that really pulls here, and then lately for me, as you know, personal wise, it's hitting a little bit harder. I think the world needs to know this, especially in the world we're living in. So, why, Miss Katrina, did you get into energy healing?
So it wasn't my intention. I absolutely did not know anything about energy healing. My daughter, she was in a car accident. And the night of the accident, I was able to bring her home. There was, I think there was 7 kids in the car at the time. And compared to the other kids, she just had a couple of bumps and bruises. There was broken leg. There was a broken, whatever this bone is up here, and so different kids had different issues wrong with them. But I was able to bring my daughter home. A couple of days later, I went to the ER. I said, something's not right about my daughter. And they said, okay, it's the pain medicine that the original hospital gave her. It was too strong of a dose because of her size. Okay, I can see that. A couple of days later, I took her back. Something's not right about my daughter. And originally, because it was the ER again, it was a different doctor. Oh, he blamed the pain medicine. I says, no, because she hasn't asked for pain medicine. So I haven't given her anything. She's just laying there. She's urinating on herself. When she's talking, she's not coherent. She doesn't have that spark like she normally does. And we spent hours upon hours in the emergency room. It was 10:30 at night. And they finally came to me and told me that she needed to go to MUSC. And I said, so what, am I supposed to make an appointment? No, we're loading her in the ambulance and then you can follow behind. That was the longest trip to Charleston that I took because I didn't know what was wrong with my daughter. It was dark. I had no idea where I was going. At MUSC, they poked and prodded and gave her every test in the book. They tested her brain, her heart, her blood, her nerves. I mean, everything was getting tested. They finally concluded that she had what they called conversion disorder. Her brain took the stress of the accident and converted it into a disorder. There's nothing physically wrong with her. It's in her head, basically. So they sent me home with a stack of prescriptions and a walking belt, because at this point, she would literally take a step and fall over. She couldn't keep her balance. It wasn't her. She was supposed to be a freshman in high school. She was an Air Force ROTC. She was running cross country, and now she's just there. So for her entire freshman year, she was seeing a doctor pretty much every day, a different specialist, a different doctor, between physical therapy, occupational therapy, regular doctors. And it was just trying to wake up her brain. They told me at MUSC, treat her like a toddler and reteach her how to do the things that she's not doing until her brain clicks. That was it. She was passing out. She had what I saw and what doctors saw as petit mal seizures, but the fact that we couldn't get them recorded, I forgot the device, but whenever she was hooked up to the device, she would never have one. And so they couldn't technically say she was having seizures because the device wasn't reading that she was having seizures. Meanwhile, we had moved to Myrtle Beach, and I saw a flyer for a butterfly retreat. And I don't know what stood out about the butterfly retreat flyer, but I just seeing it 3 times in one day, I needed to be there. I called Jennifer. I told her my situation. She told me to come on over. And it was my first dialogue that I can remember in a while that I had with God mentally in my head, because what I saw, all these people in this room were people of the devil. That's in my head. That's what it was. There was witches, there were shamans, there was hand readers. These are all the people coming from the church. These are all people that I'm not supposed to be associating with. These people are of the devil. But I stayed. And I was approached by a woman, Cynthia, and she said that my spirit told me that you have a story to tell. I had no idea what story she wanted to hear. The only thing relevant in my life at this point was my daughter. So I told her about my daughter, and she said, can I meet her? So the next day I brought Tony in, and Cynthia started talking about auras and chakras and all this stuff. And it was literally going through one ear and right out the other. I had no idea what she was talking about because it was all foreign to me. Cynthia did a scan, and she said, I can help your daughter. That's fine. Nobody else is.
Right.
3 sessions with Cynthia, that spark came back on in my daughter's eyes. And within 6 months, we had stopped all the medicine cold turkey. We did energy healing, chiropractic care, and just trying to focus on healing what's within without all the outside stuff. And within 6 months, nobody would ever know that she was in a car accident. And she's about to be a mom. But she's thriving. And when I saw the healing that took place in my daughter, I realized that was the healing that I was supposed to be doing. And so I've been doing it ever since.
So I think the interesting piece that you just brought up is the fact that these people were of the devil to you. How did you merge together your faith and this new age alternative medicine or alternative healing? Because I think so many people out there, and we see it at our shop,
Mm-hmm.
when they come in, they're like, whoa, I'm not supposed to be doing this, or this is wrong. How are you able to merge it, and how do you share with other people who are in similar situations that you were, that this is of God and not of the devil?
It was definitely, I didn't wake up and say, "Oh, I'm going to do this." All of a sudden, I definitely struggled for about a year when I did become certified as a Reiki practitioner. I was struggling internally because I was getting feedback from the church that I was currently going to, and it wasn't good feedback. And I would send private messages to the pastor or to a person who I respected in the church. And it was like, no, you need to stop doing what you're doing. And I was really struggling because I didn't want to be ousted from the church, but I honestly felt like this is the gift that God gave me. And why is it the fact that just because I'm not within the four walls of a church, why can't I share this gift? It's laying of hands. That's what it is. It's laying of hands. And I spent my entire life people laying of hands in the church. But now all of a sudden I'm not within the four walls and now I'm of the devil. And so I really struggled. And I confided in a couple of friends who helped me get over that hurdle to make me realize, look, it's a gift. All of us are given gifts from God at birth. We all have our birthright gifts, and this is my gift. And why can't I share it? Just so people got to take me the way that I am. I consider myself a big bowl of jambalaya. I have a Christian foundation bowl, but I have a little bit of Hindu and Buddhism and Wiccan and pagan all mixed in, because at the end of the day, I am light, and all that makes who I am, Katrina.
Absolutely. So you follow Katrinaism. Only
Yes.
follow that because that is your path. Only you have gone through those things. What is your ultimate goal? I know that ultimate goal is a really hard question because, heck, I can't even figure out what I'm going to do later this afternoon, let alone what I want to do, and of course, what we think we want to do and what spirit has for us might be two different things. But what if you think who you are and what your purpose is at this moment? Who is that? What?
Oh, so this is fresh in my mind because me and my kids were actually talking about this recently.
We
I
didn't
want
have a conversation, so I have no idea.
I want to teach in front of over 100 students. I want to teach, and I want to be on stage and teaching to an auditorium. I want to be able to travel and take my story and take what I know and spread it around. That's my goal. I enjoy teaching. I thought I would never say that in my life because just being a teacher was not on my radar, but I've learned that when you're teaching something that you love, it comes naturally and it's easy.
It's just sharing.
Yes. Yeah. And so, yeah, that is definitely, I want to teach. Yeah.
Okay, so Cy was the one. That's my husband. But Cy was the one who asked this question, and I think it's a good question. Why reconnect All. How did you come up with that name? Why did you come up with that name?
Because that's what I was going through. I was not just focused on the spiritual side, my religion, but I wanted you have to embrace all of you. And I was going through connecting the dots, connecting each aspect of me to make me whole. And that's what this whole journey has been, is reconnecting my mind, my body, and spirit. Following the light and being as healthy as I can be at this moment, knocking on wood. But I feel, and even the podcast itself is reconnecting people, letting us hear each other's story to see how much we have in common compared to how little we have. And so reconnecting us all, getting us all back together as one.
See, I love this. Even in this conversation, the one thing I can tell you, I think the world needs to know who you are. And I probably will cry in this. You are probably the closest person I have, friend-wise, sister-wise, in my life. You walk around, no matter what your life is going through, whatever personal struggles you have, you really walk around with this place of love, no matter what. And you always kind of put it there. The world needs to know you. So I've personally, as your friend, as your sister, knowing what you want to do, I can't imagine you doing anything else, because I know for myself what an impact and a learning curve I've had to go through. Let's talk about your other part of your business of Reconnect, is the vaginals.
I'm sorry, what was that? You're whispering.
The vajayjay steaming. I'm getting better, but I will say that even in this, throughout my shyness, throughout having a hard time stepping into that part of who I was, you didn't come, Ivy, what are you doing? Just say it. Now, might have said that in jest when we were playing around, but it was slightly nudging that ability for me to find my growth. And holding that space around, knowing why I was nervous about it, you made it very comfortable. I think every person in the world needs a Katrina. I completely believe that. You want to talk about the other part of your of that with the vaginal steaming? See, I can say it.
There you
go. And go on from there, or do you want to talk about some other things?
No. What are you asking me a question?
Tell me about, how did you evolve into going from Reiki healing to vaginal steaming?
Well, to be honest, vaginal steaming is all energetic also. It is getting older. I am getting older. I am 45 this year. There are things I have heard throughout my life. We are not supposed to be in pain. And it frustrates the mess out of me when I hear doctors say, oh, that's just the way your body is. That's normal, especially during a woman's cycle. We should not be in pain. Unfortunately, the environment that we live in, the food that we are eating, the things that we are inhaling, whatever, it messes up our natural essence. And vaginal steaming helps clear out that gunk physically and energetically. Because we as women, I'm mainly speaking about women because that's what I am. I'm 100% woman. Our creativity, our source of creation is our womb space. And if that is all clouded up, if that is all stagnant, if that's all filled with junk, we are not going to be able to be 100% who we need to be. We have to be able to clear out all that gunk. And so we can move into the woman that we are all meant to be. And that's vaginal steaming does that when it is done correctly.
And I will tell you, from someone who thought it was the craziest sounding thing, experienced it, and it really has changed my life in ways. I didn't have to do the hormones because I did not want to do hormones going through my transition into the croning stage. So for that, I will be, and I think you and I kind of giggle all the time because I'm like, I'm the first to eat crow. Again, though, I think I know the one thing that I love about you is that there is no judgment. It's just love and allowing us, because it is my shyness is part of my journey that I have to overcome. And you understand that. And I love that part about you. When I talk to other people about you, as I did yesterday, the word that comes to me for you, and I share that, is love. It's pure love. When I make my pure love candles, I mean, honestly, that is who you are. I find that wonderful. So now let's have some fun, because we only have like 9 minutes left or something like that. Let's ask some questions. Craziest thing that's happened since your journey?
Oh, okay. A craziest thing that, you know, being in the shop. Olde Magick Ways is available to anybody.
Absolutely.
We have all different characters who come into the shop, and we can't control that, unfortunately. And I think the main thing that pops up in my head is my experience when I was trying to do energy work on somebody, and I didn't ask permission ahead of time when I was in the shop. And my energy field was being attacked because of it. And I've learned from you, and I learned from my Reiki master what that process felt like, why I was going through that, and how to help myself. And tips from you about being an empath. And that was something I didn't know when I started this journey, that I was an empath. I didn't even know what an empath was at the time. And so having to go back to move forward, learning how to ground myself, stepping outside and putting my feet in dirt, and being able to help myself. That has been, I won't go into specifics about the person and the situation, but that has definitely, it's been an interesting journey, seeing different people that come into the shop and different experiences, because I've learned, do I believe in ghosts? Yep, they are there. I'm just,
We have times here. I think, though, what you just said, and I appreciate that compliment about learning from me, but how many times have you had to reteach me? It's like this cycle where, where the student becomes the teacher, and then the next student becomes the teacher. We're constantly in this evolution. And that is one thing I also love about you, is you don't have to believe in no, let me rephrase it. You don't have to have every path that is for you, but you learn about everything and everyone. And when we talk about, diversity and things of that nature, I know that's kind of who you are. You want to learn a little bit from everybody and make the best version of you.
And that's what I like about the gathering, because I'm listening to you and understanding where you're coming from. Some of it, what is relevant to me, will sink in, but what's not, guess what? It just slides right off. It's not, I've learned that not everything is for me. Like, I had a conversation the other day in the store. Somebody was asking me about tarot. I don't do tarot. And so it's hard for me to describe it. But, the next person, maybe I had to mention our friend Denise, who has the vast collection of cards that she has. So I referred them to her. And it's like, I love the fact that I am able to pick from our community, because I know so many people who are on so many different paths, and I don't want to judge. It's not my place to judge. And so it's just, I'm just here. I'm learning, and if it's not for me, or if I know somebody who is on that journey, then I'd be more than happy to refer them.
And I think that's the one thing that is great about, what we do is that, and it took no, let me rephrase it. It took me a little bit, maybe not you, but to realize that's not competition. Do you know how do you, what is your thoughts on who is meant to see you? Like, there's so many, we, in our area, we have shops that are popping up. Then there's so much online. There's Reiki masters doing distance healing. There's Reiki masters in person all up and down the Grand Strand. What is your thought about who you are meant to see versus who you're not meant to see?
I'm meant to see those who find me. That's, I mean, I can't, I can't think of any other way to put that. You know, those who, when I was on my journey looking for my Reiki master, I told God, okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is how much I can spend. This is the type of person I am looking for. Put them in my path. And he did. And that's, joy was in my path. And that, it was totally, I put out an SOS on Facebook. I am looking for a Reiki master to learn, to teach me, to become a Reiki master teacher. And this total random guy, we have been friends for maybe a year or two. He private messages me. I've never had a conversation with him. He said, here is a Reiki master I think you would enjoy. And I just ignored him for a while because I never had a conversation with this dude. I don't know him, but I finally reached out to who he suggested, and we hit it off, and it was great.
So the phrase, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
Is very much pertinent for you.
Yeah.
So people that are starting this journey, because we have about 3 minutes left, right? Is that correct?
Stop timing me.
Oh, I'm trying to. So I want people, I think it's really important, whether, if somebody is got questions on their journey, or they're looking for a Reiki master, or they're just beginning this journey, what would you say? Or if they want to do, if they're, because you're offering a Reiki class that next Sunday, is it?
The 16th?
Yeah.
Is that next Sunday? I think so. I think, yes, it's next Sunday.
You have Reiki 1 class coming up.
I have Reiki 1 class at Olde Magick Ways, yes.
How would you encourage somebody who was you? Maybe their situation's a little different of how they got into it, or how it's crossed their mind. What would you suggest to the person stepping in?
Come with an open mind and make sure, have a conversation with me. I don't expect, like when I was with Joy, it was interviewing her just as much as she was interviewing me before we went forward. You got to make sure that you have a rapport with the person you are learning from. And so come and have a conversation with me. I teach that there is no religion attached to Reiki. And that is something that, for me teaching it, that is how I teach it. Now, are there practitioners who do attach what they believe in with their practice? Of course. I personally do not attach my religion to energy healing. We are all energy. We all have the power to do energy work. It's just a matter of getting the knowledge behind what it is that you are doing. And so have a conversation. It's okay. No question. Everybody comes into the store. This may sound dumb, but I assure you, it's not weird. It's not dumb. Just ask the question. Stop by and talk to us.
And I will tell you, Katrina, I think anybody that takes a moment to chat and ask your story will be enlightened in their own way, because it's something we all understand is about loving our family members, right? And we want the best for them. And for somebody who was raised Christian, who is stepping in and hearing more of the medical world, it can be overwhelming. So when you're looking to do something of this nature, it's all about love. I will say, I love you, I love you, I love you. I have had your sessions myself. I trust my family to have sessions with you. You're who I really want to lead with something we're working on for my child. I feel like this community very much needs you as a part of it, and we're so blessed to have you.
Well, thank you. I think there's not a lot. I didn't, as I said before, I didn't know energy work before my daughter's accident. This whole world was completely foreign to me other than what I see in Hollywood. And to continue on as that big bowl of jambalaya, sharing my story, sharing my gifts to people who look like me is something that I want to pursue and I want to grow, because people don't realize between mentally, going out to get therapy wasn't something that I grew up in, but it is something that I've encouraged all of my children to be in at one point in a time. It's something that I grew up, go to church. You would get healing in church, mentally, physically, whatever, everything is in church. But I wanted to turn the tables just slightly and just let people know it all doesn't have to come from church. You don't have to be within the four walls for the healing.
Because the relationship is from your divine.
Yes. And divine, I as I said before, I don't judge whether it's God, goddess, Buddha, whoever. That's between you and yours. I just feel that I'm just of love with no judgment.
All right. Anything else you'd like to share? I could do this hour, by the way, because I would love to do this again where we can kind of have some fun, but I really felt like you let all of us, and thank you for having this platform where you let all of us practitioners come on and share our stories. So it's definitely time for you to get yours out there as well.
Well, I figured it was appropriate since this is season 2 and we went through all of season 1, listening from everybody else. And I already have other podcasts in the works for season 2. And I'm excited for the growth of this platform and sharing the wonderful people that are in my life. Because I am blessed. My circle is small, but it is very inclusive and diverse with such rays of light. And that's what I want to share with the world, is all these rays of lights.
And I think the world definitely needs to see your ray of light. So
well, if you are done, thank you, Ivy, for giving me this opportunity to share me.
We should do this monthly or quarterly. You should have somebody interview you quarterly. I think that would be fabulous.
I will definitely take that under advisement. But thank you, everyone who is listening, or who is going to be listening, or who is watching. This is being aired on Facebook and on YouTube. And so I'm super excited. It's going to be all over the podcast station shortly. Thank you so much. Reconnect All podcast will be airing the second and fourth Sunday of each month. This is the second Sunday. And so look forward to the fourth Sunday at 10 a.m. If you all have any questions about a session, about classes are being hosted at Reconnect, at Olde Magick Ways in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. You can go ahead and give me a call, 224-423-5433, or you can find me on Facebook and go ahead and shoot me a message. I'm Katrina D. Owen on Facebook or Reconnect All. So there's a variety of different ways to reach out to me. I look forward to talking to you all. Again, thank you, Ivy. Many blessings to you all.
Many blessings.